for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Brooklyn, 863 St. Marks Avenue, located within the Crown Heights North Historic District. It's docket number 162298, block 1222, lot 67. And this is a residential building built in 2006. The application is to alter the facade and construct rooftop and rear yard additions.
Good morning, Carousel, Landmark staff. 863 St. Marks Avenue is located on the north side of the street with Kingston Avenue to the right and Brooklyn Avenue to the west. Located mid-block, the current building was constructed in 2006 prior to designation and sits in the middle of a historic row of 4 remaining Renaissance Revival row houses. The application is to alter the facade and remove the existing stoop, as well as construct a 2-story rooftop addition where the lower level will align with the street facade and an upper level that's set back from the street facade. The 2-story rooftop addition will overlap a proposed full-height rear yard addition, and this will be visible from the rear of the building over a 1-story building from Bergen Street. And Mary Dearix is here to present the application.
Thank you, Karen. Mary Dearix, good morning. I'm the preservation consultant for this project. With me is the architect, Damian Webster, and Levy Balcony, one of the owners. Damian will be here to answer questions. So, Kara explained that it's in Crown Heights. This building was built in 2006. And it was part of a row of 5 that was built in the 1890s, but this one was destroyed by fire. Here is the row, which goes from there to here to here. Sanborn showing additions on in the rear yards. Plot plan. This is the 1940 photo. It's a lot of trees in the neighborhood, which is very nice, but the row is not intact and had an unusual gigantic roof that is all gone now. This is the rear. That's the rear of the building and the adjacent buildings. The adjacent buildings come out with large rear additions, and this building is actually kind of small. The rear additions stop at their 2-story. Here's the rear yard and the roof. This section shows what is being proposed, except for the front, which we'll get to. What's proposed is this is a 2-story addition that's set very far back. The first floor of the addition is set back very far from the front 39 feet, and the second is also. The top addition is 23 feet total, counting the sloped roof. The rear addition is here, and it's full height, except that it steps back at the top. This would be the approximate level of the adjacent buildings. The rear addition is 26.5 feet extending out, which is the same as the rear additions on the adjacents. They're deep rear additions. This is a 3D that gives you an idea of there's the addition, here is the addition, and the sloped roof. This addition, because there's a park in front of the building, this top part can be seen from about a block away, a little bit less than a block away in the park, and it can continue to be seen as far for 2 blocks, which is where the park is. This is kind of a difficult to see 3D. This shows you the rear is now really, it's actually about even with the with the rear additions of the two adjacents, but it does go up higher than the rear additions, actually.
This is proposed,
This is the proposed.
coming out to the same.
Yeah. It comes out to the same.
But it goes full width, whereas the adjacents don't.
That is correct.
And what is it now? It's 2 stories. And
The,
what is the, no, so this doesn't exist
Or
now?
This doesn't exist. This is the adjacent rear addition.
Are the adjacent facades stucco or limestone?
They're brick.
White? In the front, I'm talking about, the front facades.
Oh, limestone. We'll go into that. You'll see it again. Our building is brick, but everybody else's building is limestone in the front. Here it is. Here's what we're proposing. We're proposing to do a stucco on the front with simplified details that don't match the adjacent buildings, but make it blend in better. The stairs will be removed. The building is staying the same. We're not changing the openings. We're not changing the layout or the facade. This is the first top addition, and then this is the second top addition. So we've tried to make it blend in as much as possible to the neighboring. We're looking to do a nice quality stucco that's kind of limestone looking, but
Is this going to be a synthetic stucco over the brick?
yes.
So it's ephes? Stowe?
No.
Stowe is ephes.
Stowe is ephes. We are not doing this. This is, it will be like this, but we are not. We're doing stucco.
Cement stucco?
Cement stucco.
On mesh,
Yeah, on the brick.
on
But
mesh
not
or brick?
ephes.
You're doing it on the brick?
Yes.
Other questions?
This is the drawing elevation of the front. This is the back. The back is now kind of aluminum clapboard. And what is proposed is actually brick to match the adjacents. The color isn't correct, with the top 2 floors being stucco. Here.
So what is correct? What is all red?
Yeah, it would be red brick, like this. Drawn elevation. These are the plans. I'm just going to go through them very quickly.
Are there any photos of the courtyard on the interior of the block? The contours?
Yeah, like the footprints.
We have, no, we have at the beginning of the section, we have the photo of the rear yard plus a bit of the adjacents in the first few pages. And then, of course, the sandboard.
That's on page 3, I think.
Yeah. I can scroll back.
Page 3 is the site plan.
Yeah, I don't know if we
5.
have that.
Yeah, 5 just, oh, there it is.
Yeah, so this gives you an idea of this is the rear yard, these are the neighbors' rear yards.
I got it.
So where's
Yeah.
the line of the new building?
And here's a little bit more of the, I'll go back to that. Here's a little bit more. That shows the short building, and that's the reason it can be seen from Bergen Street. So these are the buildings, that you look at that are on Bergen Street. The line of where the addition is going to be is here, even with the other rear additions.
Just at the top level, you have the 2 party walls that are extending above. Is that existing or is that being proposed?
Excuse me, Damien, if you would come up to answer questions, just say your name first.
See that on the 2 sides of the building, there's the party wall that's extruded between the 2? Is that existing?
That's existing on the neighbor's side.
That's existing on the neighbor side to the extent that it is right now shown here?
Go through,
Pictures.
oh, back to the pictures. Oh, yeah.
You see it here.
is the same on both sides?
No, this one.
No,
is not-
isn't it, okay, it seems that's just the side wall, right? But
Yeah.
doesn't it go higher with your proposal, or it's this? Okay, well, maybe I'm confused, okay.
I see it behind the trees there, that it does go up.
Right on one side, what's happening on the other
right
side?
It doesn't, when facing the building left side, there's no party wall, it's the facade, as you can see.
Okay, it's just the
It's one
facade.
flat
Got it,
surface.
right, so you're not putting a party, okay, all right.
So I'm going to go back to, what we're going to see is, we're going to zip through the plans, unless you want to see them, and then we're going to go to the views.
Let's go to the views.
Yeah. It's the section that's showing the details. This is the mock-up. This shows some of the, this is the first floor, which is certainly visible everywhere and really a good thing too, because that makes it more even with the neighbors. So this is mock-up and montage. This is from, these are just mock-ups. This is from the park, so you will be able to see the top addition floor from the park, but it is set back very far. This is the view from Bergen Street. It was really very difficult to do to figure out the montage, and it's not entirely right. And the brick will be the dark red, but it will be visible from Bergen Street.
Now, from the front, it looked like it was the same, I mean, it looks the same height, but maybe that's just the one-story part, because you're
Right.
not seeing the other.
This is a much smaller building. This new building is a much smaller building than its neighbors. So we're bringing the height on the front up to its neighbors,
Right.
and then adding a rooftop addition back beyond that.
But you're
So
bringing
it's
the
taller
height,
than all the other buildings
From the
with the
back, it's
enlargement.
tall, it looks-
From the
because in
back,
front,
it's
it looks
taller,
all right, but-
and the reason it's taller is because you can just see it here. Can you see that? That's the rear addition. And this is of the neighbor, and this is the back wall of the neighbor above the rear addition. So the issue is that instead of stopping here, we're taking it up the full height.
I'm sorry, I just need clarification on this. What was, before the building was burned, do we know what the original height of the building was?
Right,
It
it would
is-
have looked,
and
it would have been like its neighbors. So the front would have been like its neighbors in front, and we're bringing it up to that height in front.
Okay.
And then, more or less, and then adding a rooftop addition, which is set back from the front.
Right, that's a confusing statement. You're bringing
Yeah.
it to the height, and then you're adding more.
Yeah, so we're having
Okay.
a two-story addition. The one-story addition is right at the front of the building, and it, in effect, raises the height of the building to look like, more like its neighbors.
Like it once was.
Like it
Let's
once
just say
was.
that for a minute.
Like it
because-
once was, except that it's not an altered building, it's a new building, so like the old one was. And then, in addition, the second-story addition goes above the neighbors, but it's set back.
And you see this from, you're saying, from Bergen?
This is the rear. And in the rear, the rear addition, it goes back like the old building. It extends back like the old building, but unlike the old building, it comes up an extra 2 stories, and then this is the top addition. This would have been there a little bit, but this wouldn't have been.
I'm confused a little bit by the 3Ds on LM116 versus this. The 3Ds on LM16 seem to show that the top addition is more or less the same height as the rest of the buildings to the left and right. But here, it's
I
showing
know,
it a
it looks
good
too-
one floor above
It's a
it,
photo montage.
It looks
Which
too
is
big.
best?
I don't understand.
which is right. Is this right?
116.
So,
And there too, it
Yeah.
looks like it
Yeah, I just
soars
understand.
above its neighbors
Right.
significantly.
and what we need to look at instead is the drawn elevation.
Okay. So,
It does soar.
if,
It's this much higher.
which is how much?
It's a 20-foot addition plus 3 feet for the sloped roof. And so It would
About half of
be,
that.
yeah,
About
it would
12
be
feet
less,
above.
yeah.
About 12 feet. So the highest point of this is about 12 feet above the highest point of the neighbors.
Yeah.
So then, so the 1/16th sheet sketch is not correct.
It isn't. It was very, very hard to do that, that montage, and
Okay, so that's-
what it is it's actually looking like it's not even extended far enough, but it's too high.
So Mary, so just
Yes.
short, so
Sheet 116, the computer image is not accurate?
no.
Can't both be accurate.
It's, the drawn elevation is accurate.
The elevation.
And this 116.
I don't know. It's like hallucinating? I don't know.
The 16.
Damien, can you?
Oh, yeah,
clarify?
here. It's in the middle.
It's in the middle. It's
Yeah, so if it were that, it would
Oh, there are two?
be about the same height.
100. It's after 100, then it goes to 116, then it goes to 116 again, then it goes back to 101.
Okay, it's after 100.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there are two 116s.
Yeah.
Oh, the 3D?
Yeah, so I'm talking about, oh, they both say that. Okay, but the first 116.
Is that accurate?
But this one shows it as if the height is about, looks like just 3 feet taller.
You're
And you
saying
said it's 12 feet.
Right, so that is
I'm-
not
This,
correct.
this one's more accurate. When I went and measured,
All right.
it was kind of difficult. I was hanging over and measuring.
But
Put
the-
this
for sure, the
next to
drawn
the
elevations,
elevations.
the drawn elevations are accurate.
Well, that's not, those aren't matching.
The building, the neighboring building sloped backwards. If you look,
Okay.
the neighboring building sloped backwards, so that's why the back elevation.
But even if it's,
montage-
but you could, even if it's sloping backwards, you'd be able to see the ridge of at the front,
I
correct?
agree. The montage is the one that's not accurate. I think this one is more accurate because I modeled the whole thing, the entire block.
I just don't see from this how how it reconciles with the fact that you said it's 12 feet taller.
It's not 12 feet tall.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of confusion here. Okay.
Say what it is.
Looks like it's
the only
8
thing
feet.
that goes above is the ridge height. It's about 3.5 feet. The ridge.
So it's just 3.5 feet taller,
The only part of it that goes taller is the slope.
is the slope. So if you had a flat roof, it would be the same height?
Well, yeah.
And the reason for the slope roof is what?
To make it a more contextual.
But are the buildings slope roofs in this?
Well, I mean.
I see only
if you
two,
look at
but the rest seems all flat.
Yes. And when it was there before as well.
So let's keep our fingers placed on this one and then go to 102, which should be after it. Now, keep on going. There we go. So now, if we look at this, left, proposed front contextual elevation shows the topmost roof.
Yeah, it looks like
is
3 feet
up,
taller.
You know, a couple of inches down from the topmost parapet of its neighbor. But if we go to the right,
They haven't shown
there's
the
a
line.
significant difference. What happened there? How did,
This is the measurement that we got.
so it slopes.
They're not showing what's behind.
I'm not showing what's behind the building.
So if you drew that like a pure elevation, you'd show all the lines, right? The face at the rear and then the lines behind. So there should be some more lines there.
There's a rooftop addition, or there's a rooftop element on the adjacent buildings that is set back from the rear wall.
Or sloped, one of the two.
Oh, so it's just sloping straight up. Boy, that's
Yeah, I know that's a long slope.
Okay, so this is the line at the back, but you're not showing the beyond line, which is the front, which is higher.
Can I just ask, wouldn't it be appropriate for this renovation to model the new work after the very intact buildings to the left and to the right, both in height and in material, limestone, in front and in back?
The owner would like to talk to that, Levy Balcony. Please wait. Say your name.
Levy Balcony. The reason why we couldn't do that is, right now the building is fully functionable. It could be a rental building. If we make any changes, it's going to be very The only way to economically do it, to put an elevator in and to do all that work, is to push, to have an elevation in the back part of the house. The front, when you're going on the block, at the end of the day, when this building is built, the house will line up with all the other houses. You will not, unless you go to the park, like a few hundred feet down, you won't be able to see anything from the back on the street itself. You need to have a roof, an addition in the back just for economic reasons. It's expensive to build. And probably excluding that addition, we'll just keep it the way it is. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions? All right, why don't we take testimony? Barbara Zay?
Barbara Zay of the Historic Districts Council. The current appearance of 863 St. Marks Place is not only insensitive, but a detraction from the elegance that encompasses it. This is a rare case where adding stucco and an additional story helps blend a building into the background, where in this case it belongs. The proposed color downplays this intervention, while the added story and setback leave it quietly within its neighbors. In the rear of the building, however, the committee felt that in regards to both materials and design, the current strategy is quite institutional in its approach and should be revisited in favor of a more residential design. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more speakers? All right. Community Board 8 submitted their resolution. They support those parts of the proposal that will stucco the front facade and remove the front stair to make the building match its limestone neighbors. However, the committee rejected the added floors and substantial bulk of the rear enlargement.
If I could just say about HTC, we actually read HTC's comments online, and we did change the back a little bit since they saw the project so that the windows better match the neighboring windows. So.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant? All right. I would say that, unfortunately, some of the material you've put forward doesn't make a very compelling case for appropriateness, particularly, I think, at the rear. At least in my opinion, it seems that this new building is, as noted, very insensitive to the street and these other historic buildings. There is some benefit to making this facade better, so I recognize that. But I think the rear, the bulk that's shown, even though you're extending it out to where the adjacent buildings are extended out, you're adding 2 more stories, and I think that's very significant. And I think then you have an additional floor, which is set back only 3 feet, so it's very visible. And I also think that the facade and its treatment is somehow irregular and doesn't seem to match. And if this wasn't seen from anywhere, it's one thing, but it does actually have some views. So I think that they should restudy this entire bulk. Does anybody support where it's at now? All right, so I think you really should think about reducing the bulk of the back. Maybe it should match the neighbors, and that would be more effective. Or even if it has to go higher, you don't have to go all these, maybe it doesn't have to go to the 5th floor or 6th floor that you're proposing. It's just, I think right now, I believe the commission is not happy with this. Okay? All right.
Thank you.